continuing to give me spiritual and physical strength and mental clarity. To our Mayor, Dolores Prince, members of our City Council, and our City staff. My name is Mary Lathan. As I've said before, I've been a resident of Port Arthur all of my life, although I was educated in Houston and lived for a period of time on the East and West Coast. The bottom line, however, is that Port Arthur, primarily the West Side, has always been my home. I want to address Councilman Scott simply because I did not have an opportunity, I did not take the opportunity to consult him before deciding to address the council. And I know that he's very concerned for the new addition of the West Side of Port Arthur, so I apologize to him for not following protocol. I address the council today on the rapid deterioration of the new addition, a once vibrant community during the 50s, which suffers from economic hardship and abandonment. I hope that I reflect the feeling of despair that pervades the remaining residents of my neighborhood, and that I clearly present the desire to seek help for improvement of the blighted areas which surround the homes that make up the last vestiges of this historic Black community. I am so thankful and proud of the New Addition residents who are here tonight. Some of them are still residents, some have lived at one time, and others are just simply interested in seeing the West Side progress. Would each of you please stand? I so much appreciate their support. A common sense realization of what was happening to the area between West 7th Street and Proctor, Grannis Avenue and Foley Avenue was my initial motivation for this presentation tonight. However, after some research, I am more aware of a term that has nationally become the process that destroys Black neighborhoods in many cities in America, gentrification. According to authors who have researched, it's found that, and you can find this on many websites, property once owned by minorities during the 50s and 60s has become the target of affluent individuals who seek redevelopment prospects for future economic growth. I'm not here to argue or to go into what has happened in the New Addition, the fact that there is extensive debris, the fact that there are abandoned houses that are boarded up and left to rot, literally rot, and property devaluation. I can't argue that right now because the reality is if you drive through that area, you'll see it for yourself. I am here, rather, to merely ask the council to provide a safe, livable environment for those of us who remain and intend to remain in our neighborhood until these entities, or those entities rather, who want redevelopment openly pursue their business plans. I have pictures, I don't know if we can have them projected at this time. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Of homes, and it's not clear because of the lighting and so forth, but there are homes that even bear boards that state property of the police department. And yet, when you pass them, the entire roof has caved in. Vegetation has overridden the communities. Cars have been parked in vacant lots. Furniture is piled up. And I just believe that once an area is clean and it is considered or thought to be a part of a community, that the people of the community will follow suit and attempt to maintain its cleanliness. Those citizens who lived in the New Addition tried to maintain the attractiveness of their properties. But it's difficult to see the well-kept homes when sites such as those that are pictured remain. These eyesores present health hazards. Rats, mice, and other rodents take up residence in the fallen trees and open houses. Safety hazards, sidewalks are buckled, and many are blocked because of debris, and become havens for those who engage in illegal activities. I realize that so many remaining residents qualify for homesteads, so there are not many taxes that are paid from these people. However, I would ask that your conscience dictate the efforts you make to help improve the living conditions of those of us who are unwilling or unable to move. Consider the humanity of those who try to maintain a neighborhood of people, who remember what life once was in the New Addition. Recall for a moment what it meant to be a resident of this West Side community where doctors, teachers, Refinery workers, business owners, city employees, and others raised their families and shared a common history.
Excuse me, one moment. Just one moment. We're going to, Councilmember Thomas?
Mayor, I ask the council to let's vote and allow Ms. Nathan more time to speak.
Good.
Councilmember Troy?
I only need 10 seconds.
Okay, you're seconding. Okay, all those in favor of extending the time?
Aye.
What?
It's really not something that you can vote on.
Okay, well then, the council, the council,
It's not.
look, we're gonna follow,
Let me just say, you can't vote on something that's not an action item, but if you agree to extend the
Council
time,
agrees,
if
then-
there's no, you can't actually
Okay,
take a
council
physical
agrees.
vote, I'm sorry.
I think all of you all agree that we can do that. So Ms. Latham, if you don't mind, continue.
I would hope that the cultural ancestry that we share with some members of the council would somehow be the impetus to correct a situation that has gone on far too long. Please set aside any rancor that may hinder decisions that might be made on our behalf. By the time developers move in this area, many of us would have moved on by one way or another. Just allow our last days to be pleasant, safe, and reminiscent of the former years when the new addition was a good place to live. And thank you for this additional 10 seconds.
Councilmember Scott, Ms. Latham, thank you so much for coming. Seriously, I think I told you that before the meeting got started. Thank you for being concerned, and thank all of you all from the west side for being here. We appreciate that. Councilmember Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Lathan, I commend you and all the citizens that are here today. There's no need to apologize to me because I think it's very important that citizens come out and discuss the issues that they have. And that way it won't be just Councilman Scott saying something about his district, but the citizens are here to speak on behalf of their own community. Now, this morning, City Manager, I rode out to the new addition on 6th Street where Ms. Lathan was speaking of. One street I rode down, City Manager. I rode from Lincoln down to Foley, down 6th Street. So I started in the 900 block, and I counted just on that street about 12 lots on one street that needed to be cut. Again, this is an area, historical area, and majority of the people there are seniors. Our seniors in this community are paying to have their yards cut, grass cut, and make sure that their homes look real presentable like the new addition is known for. And we have to take this upon ourselves to cut these other lots and get this grass, these vacant buildings done, because again, these seniors are living there and they've been there. And I know we have seniors all over the city, but these citizens are here to speak. They're here to ask for our help. Now, if I go down one street and find 11 lots on one street, it's an urgency. And I can truly say to Ms. Lathan and to that community, to the community, City Manager, if me and Mr. Brown need to take a ride tomorrow morning, if somehow you can put in your schedule to be with us to take a ride tomorrow morning, I'll really be happy that we go and look at this particular community that they're talking about, because it's a necessity. And it's a necessity all over, I understand. We have citizens here today asking for our help, and again, I'm ready to start tomorrow. Matter of fact, I was ready to start yesterday. But we need to make this an urgency about getting some of this grass cut and looking into these houses that need to be, abandoned houses need to be torn down.
City Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Scott and ladies and gentlemen, I hear you. Indeed, tomorrow, that's why Mr. Brown is in the audience today, because we anticipated this presentation on behalf of the citizens in that area. And I'm sure that we will be on this first thing tomorrow morning in terms of cutting of the grass. As to the houses that need to be demolished, you're quite correct. It's not only just in the new addition. We do have that problem throughout the city. However, I will tell you that only this afternoon did we have another meeting as we get prepared to do the next round of demolition through the Ike round 2 funding. So we are in the process of trying to attend to all those things, and I assure Ms. Lathan that first thing tomorrow we'll begin to do that. Quite candidly, we have these issues almost citywide. I'm not making an excuse. It does take some time, but tomorrow, and as much as she came here with a well-ordered presentation, we will take a look and make sure we can get on it as expeditiously as we can.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to make certain that you look at 5th Street, because in that 800 block, entire trees lie across the sidewalk. And we have people in, a gentleman walks my dogs for me because I can't do it. And we have to walk in the streets. The children have to walk in the streets. And a man in a motorized wheelchair has to roll down the street because trees, and someone even left a bag of something. I'm not touching it in one of the vacant houses on my corner. And I just know that even if the house isn't gone, give us a break, please. So I'm going to be out there looking for you.
Well,
I'll be up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
you'll see me tomorrow, and we're not just going to look at 6th Street, we're going to look at the whole neighborhood. Okay? So we'll be there tomorrow morning, Ms. Lathan. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis.
Ms. Layton, appreciate you coming by and remind us. That's one of the areas that I represent, also District 1, and in addition to that, District 4. In addition to what Councilman Scott has talked about, in addition to what the city manager has talked about, what we're going, Mr. Baker has put some money into, about $250,000 into the budget for demolition. We got about 500,000 CDBG monies for demolition to take care of some old houses. And in addition to that, got a problem. We got an ongoing problem. The second round of Ike, that's basically about $2.2 million for demolition. And some of those houses that we're talking about in your area is on that list. But the clock is running on that money. It's going to expire in 2014. But for some reason or another, you all need to call Joe Desatel, and I'm going to be talking to him also. It's bogged down at the regional planning. For some reason or another, they happen to release the money. They got $2.2 million that can be used for demolition and get rid of those old houses. But for some reason or another, y'all give Joe Desatel a call also and tell him to do what he possibly can to unlock that log jam at the regional planning. And in addition to that, a city manager, we can get with the sheriff's department and get some of these lots of things you're talking about with that underbrush, it's owned by the city. Okay? Well, we can get our prisoners there and some volunteers and clean all that underbrush and stuff, and where you can see from completely across. Have it looking like Gillum Circuit, where we feel safe, we can see across. And the police department, when they're making their rounds and what have you, they can see completely across the lots and what have you. Now, Gilly, that's my buddy, Gilly, he works those prisons. He can take care of that. Just a matter of get with the chief, and the chief can get him scheduled to take care of that. That's something that can be done right away, okay? And he promised me when he finished with the fire department that he was going to do that. He hasn't done it yet, but Gilly's a good man, despite what the chief think of him, but he's a good man. Just, no pun intended. Okay, but he's a great guy. But he'll be working with us also. And the city manager and Councilman Scott, you got a good representative there. He's going to do everything that he possibly can for you all. And I will be backing him up. Okay?